We don't follow trends, we own them. This is fusion, this is the mothership. Real you, real power, let's go. As a mothership alive, we rise in the night, built from the chains where others lost sight. As our microgrids pulsing, real yield and fly. My fusion is fire, the future's inside. As our mothership online, we rise in the night, built from the chains where others lost sight. As our microgrids pulsing, real yield and fly. My fusion is fire. This is real life. No JPEG promising, no clickbait clones. We own the code, the vault, the zones. Stack that yield, no Ponzi tones. Just smart contracts and bulletproof bones. NFTs that print, yeah, pass it pays. Fusion built it in silent days. Now we shine, no delays. Bomb flows hot like DeFi blaze. Vol burns rising on Plazm stats. eSHARE drops, yeah, we like that. Low supply, no inflation gains. Microgrid earns, that's DeFi flames. There's a mothership online. We rise in the night. Built from the chains where others lost sight. I can make a grids pulsing, real yield and flight. The fusion is fire, the future's in sight. There's a mothership online. We rise in the night, built from the chains where others lost sight. I can make a grids pulsing, real yield and flight. The fusion is fire. This is real life. Remember the signs, we broke it loud. They laughed at DeFi, we built a crowd. No VCs, no ties, only freedom and yield that multiplies. Microgrid stack like royalty rights. Each one's income day and night. No click to earn, no empty spin. Fusion plays the long-term win. Minted points, that's yesterday. Now it's yield every time you stay. The bonds pay in pure reward. Any share hits that scoreboard. From DexFi.com to the Plazm core. Every transaction fuels us more. We earn, we rise, we own. Welcome aboard, welcome home. Was your mothership online? We rise in the night, love built from the chains where others lost sight. Watch your microgrids pulsing, real yield and flight. The fusion is fire, the future's in sight. Watch your mothership online. We rise in the night, love built from the chains where others lost sight. Watch your microgrids pulsing, real yield and flight. The fusion is fire. This is real life.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the official EMP Fusion live stream and all things EMP. My name is AJ, I am the team lead here, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host with the most and fellow team member, LA. LA, how are you?
I'm good. What's up, everybody?
Awesome. So we have another jam-packed episode today. Lots of great updates and getting ready for the end of the year. I can't believe we're already through 2025. Before we get into all that, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. That really helps get the word out. And remember that we come to you every Thursday at 6:45 p.m. Eastern. So, all right. Overall, I wanted to give a quick update on the markets. Again, it's just never a dull moment. We had a nice rally at the beginning of the week. Then yesterday we kind of fell off a little bit. So I think it's still just the typical end of the year, volatility. We do see volume dry up anyway towards the end of the year. Again, a lot of hedge funds and investors, for that matter, don't want to lose all the gains they made over the year. Although a lot of them may not have had gains unless they were in the traditional stock market. But that being said, we just usually see volume dry up, and that's another reason we'll talk about in a minute with bonds. APR on bonds has been a little bit lower, but we did cross an amazing milestone of $1 million paid out to all bondholders through our affiliate or through our white label programs and our main treasury bond. So that's amazing. You can't argue with that. And it was only within like 6 months. So again, that's on track for 2 million by this coming summer and hopefully sooner. So although APRs have been down, again, it's purely because of volume, and I think that we'll see it jump back at the beginning of the year. So overall, and another big catalyst was rate cuts. So we did have that yesterday. It was a 25% basis point. So that was good. Hoping for 50 or 0.5, but that didn't happen. Although it does seem that here again in America that the Fed is a little more dovish, which is good. So again, I think the 4-year cycle, I think it's probably over. A lot of people don't agree with that, and that's I think why we're seeing things continue to be suppressed. But I think after the end of the year, going into 2026, I think we'll really truly invalidate the 4-year cycle, and then when that happens, the floodgates will open again, and all the cash that's on the sidelines will enter back in. So, all right, that's a bit of the market update. LA, anything you want to add to that before we jump in?
I certainly was happy yesterday when I saw them cut the rates a little bit more before the end of the year, and let's hope that has a positive impact on the economy overall.
Yeah, absolutely, LA. And I think too, we're scheduled for another meeting at the end of January or early February, and that could very well be yet another rate cut. Quantitative tightening is officially over. Now we're getting into quantitative easing, so that will also help the money printer come back online. And again, hopefully that really sets everything up for midterms here in, again, America. We keep mentioning, obviously cryptos are global, market, but I think that, you can't argue that the U.S. economy drives a lot of this. So there's no way that Trump is going to have a crappy economy going into midterm. So I think that's also a big catalyst for sure. So, all right, awesome. All right, LA, let's move on to Fusion. Let me go over a few bullet points, and then I'll pull up my screen here. But we've been off to a great start. It's officially 1 week, right? Or 2 weeks now. Oh, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Oh, all right. I thought my sorry about that. My thought the video froze. So yeah, it's been officially what, 2 weeks now, right, LA? Or 1? Man, I lose track of time. It's crazy.
I
But
honestly couldn't tell you. The days fly by. Today, when I woke up and found out it was Thursday, I thought it was Tuesday still. So
yeah, no doubt. It's been a whirlwind. So we're always so busy doing all the behind the scenes stuff. So yeah, I think officially it's been 2 weeks as of today. So yeah, and again, we've said it many times, although it's been a great start, the APR will gradually increase. It's not like overnight we turn the revenue streams on again. And we'll clarify this in a minute when I pull up the screen, because I know LA mentioned to me that even she was a little confused the way that I explained it last week. So we'll go over that. But a lot of you have staked, gotten on board. I think we finally found a floor in terms of not only microgrid prices, but also in terms of what is being staked. So that's really good. And we're going to go over that as well. So, all right, let me go ahead and pull up my screen. Bear with me here. And yeah, LA, I don't know if you want to mention anything while I get this up.
yeah, it's been actually really nice to see how many people have already staked their microgrids. And what that's telling me is the majority of the people that we have left are here for the long run and actually care, because they're here, they're paying attention to announcements, and they've got their microgrid staked. And so that makes us happy to see. and we are off on the direction that we're hoping to be on.
Yeah, absolutely, LA, 100%. So, this is on yet another wallet. I know we showed the big treasure wallet last week. So don't panic. All the microgrids are still there. This is just a smaller wallet that I'm gonna start using for demonstration purposes. But overall, again, you can see up here APR has jumped pretty great already. Wednesday night, Thursday day is usually the rollover. And this is one thing I wanted to clarify. So we do what are called epochs, and epochs are essentially a payment period. And just like with bonds, the same thing applies. So with bonds, we essentially collect all the yield from LP positions throughout the week, and then that is then deposited into the distribution contract at the end of the epoch each week, and it's now averaged over 2 weeks. So even though that we deposit once a week, the payout APR is an average of 2 weeks. And so that same math applies with Fusion. So every Wednesday night, Thursday day is the rollover, and then we go out on the market throughout the week as well, from our revenue streams, yield, marketplace fees, a lot of different areas that we're generating yield, real yield, again, revenue coming in. We're buying eShare throughout the week. We're accumulating that eShare, and then again, Wednesday night, Thursday day, we deposit that into the distribution contract, and that happens once a week. So again, this APR, because it's uh, factored in over 2 weeks, it will gradually increase or decrease depending on, again, how much revenue we made for the week and how much we were able to buy and deposit. And remember now, all the eShare that is being distributed is from real yield. So we're no longer minting eShare. We're completely off the halving model. We have a total now max supply of 60,000 eShare. We bridged over a little bit more today even, but that's it. So that number will never go up. All the people that needed to bridge did, or have opened a ticket, and we've helped them manually. There may be a little bit more, but we now have all the reserves on base. So that number will only go down, eShare officially max supply. And so when we distribute eShare, we have to buy it first. And there is never going to be a situation, or I say never, but it's very, very unlikely that literally 100% of all the eShare we distribute gets sold. And so over time, that is a net positive for the price of eShare from Fusion alone. That doesn't include Plazm and all the other, buy and burn mechanisms that we have on eShare. So that's really, really powerful. And this daily payout, that once we have enough data, this will update, and that will be basically just what you're earning daily, or a estimate of what you're earning daily in eShare or dollar value. So that's why it says daily payout here, and that will be activated soon. So that's just a little bit of a recap of the UI. And then LA, you wanted me to go over how to stake and unstake as well, right?
Yeah, so we're still seeing some people write in asking about what they're doing wrong and not understanding where their microgrids are. And so the first thing I wanted to say is that nothing's been airdropped to you. So you're not going to open your wallet and see something sitting in your wallet. It's actually on the Fusion website where you're going to look for it.
Yeah, absolutely, LA. I did see some confusion about that as well. So yeah, I mean, technically speaking, we say airdrop, but yes, it's not like there's an NFT now in your wallet, and we do that by design because we only want people to be able to buy and sell on our own marketplace because that is a revenue stream for Fusion. But yeah, so what will happen is you will whatever wallet you had connected, or if you were a power up holder and never even went in to Fusion originally. It's whatever address is holding those assets. You'll connect to fusion.emp.money, and then right down here, this little area right here where it says balance, that is where you will see your microgrids. So again, I've already staked, but I can go through real quick. If you want to unstake as well, you just click this. You put as many as you would like. Again, they're only whole numbers now as well. You can't have a 0.5 microgrid. It has to be a whole microgrid. But you would unstake there if you wanted to sell, or you would go back here. Oh, hang on. All right, so if you go here to stake, and if you had microgrids that were unstaked, you would just do max or type in however many you would like, and hit confirm. So if it's your first transaction, you'll need to hit approve and do that transaction, and then a second transaction to actually confirm. But once you've approved once, then you no longer ever have to do it again. And yeah, that's how you get credit. Now, another thing to remember is if you come to Fusion a month from now and you have not been staking your microgrids, you will not have earned anything. So it really is, again, by design to reward those that are active and participating without, making it unfair, where we just don't give credit to anybody that isn't around. So those microgrids, again, they'll never be burned, but if dead wallets, or other contracts that have credit never participate in Fusion, then that's more ownership for the rest of us. And that's where this delineation comes into play. So total microgrids is 49 million, and only a little over 38 million are staked. So again, your ownership is based on the staking amount, not the total microgrids. Because honestly, I don't think we'll see, more than 39 million, maybe ever at this point. So that's really bullish because we're gaining about 10 million microgrids off of the total supply, so to speak. So all that again is really powerful for those that are here and participating. All right, awesome. I have one more point I want to make, LA, but was that it as far as demonstrating?
Yeah. Yeah. So
All right.
he's showing you where to look for it. Make sure you've got ETH in your wallet, specifically on base chain, because you'll need that for gas. And as long as you do those things, you should have no problem. But if you do have an issue, please just open a Discord ticket in our server, and we're more than happy to help you.
All right, amazing. Yeah, absolutely. And then one more point I want to make before we jump off of Fusion, because we have a lot more to cover as well. And I'm going to be doing a post about this over the next few days. But I wanted to just clarify what Fusion really is at its core. And there are two analogies that I like to make that I think will help people understand a little more of what this is, and really take away this hyper focus on APR. So obviously, being in DeFi, all of us are really groomed to want to know what the APR is. We want high APR. APR is the only thing that matters, and APR is how I earn. Well, I want you to kind of shift your thinking a little bit on Fusion, and there's two ways of doing this. So the first way is thinking of Fusion as an actual eShare mining rig. So what I mean by that is similar to how we sold the Power Up NFTs. It's essentially a way to mine eShare, again, and not have a complicated setup, a hardware piece of hardware that goes out of that is obsolete in a few months, and then a giant electrical bill. All of it's done on chain. So by owning microgrids, you're essentially earning or mining more eShare. And right now, the APR is determined based on current microgrid prices and current eShare prices. But if you're mining eShare today and 6 months from now, eShare is $70 or $700, this APR is essentially 10x what it is right now. So really, in reality, it would be 30% APR or even 300% APR, depending on the price of eShare. So you're earning an appreciating asset through Fusion. And so when you really start thinking about it like that, then you understand why, yes, APR is important, but it's not the whole story. And I made another comparison as well, which is about how Fusion is essentially decentralized ownership um, in a business. So again, everything is on chain, and obviously we have no expectation of profit from the work of others, but essentially by owning now that we're at a max supply of microgrids, part of this protocol, you own part of the DeFi business of the EMP umbrella and all the protocols and revenue streams that we have feeding the system. So again, having 0.4% ownership, you're essentially getting 0.4% of all the revenue that we make, or any the protocols individually make. And so that's another really important thing to think about, because right now you're getting ownership at rock bottom prices, and when the APR does go up, and when the revenue streams do go up, now the microgrids are dramatically more expensive, because there's more people that want in, because the system has proven itself. So right now we're still early, and although we are producing revenue, you could say that we're real revenue, and so you're getting a bigger discount for taking the risk on Fusion and building your ownership. So those are just two ways of thinking of it. LA, does that make sense? I don't know if you want to elaborate on any of that too, but I wanted to try to give a way that people can understand the potential of
Mhm.
Fusion and not be so hyper focused on APR.
Yeah, the only thing I want to add is that I just want to add a side note that this still is a DeFi project, and it is a community owned DeFi project, not a
For sure.
business. But if you start to think about it in the way that AJ is explaining it, it makes a lot more sense for long-term mindset and growth.
Yeah, absolutely, LA. Again, thank you for clarifying. Again, this is no guarantees. Everything could disappear tomorrow. This is a community-owned project, and everything is on chain and verifiable. That's the beauty of blockchain as well. So, yeah, awesome. All right. Then let me go ahead and go back over. What is up next? Or
Let's
was there anything else on Fusion?
let's talk about rewards expectations.
Okay, yeah, for sure. So, um, theoretically, the APR should only increase over time. Again, I think people are expecting like a night and day difference, and that may very well be. We could double, triple that revenue over the next few weeks. But I just want to make sure people are, again, have realistic expectations. And now is the time. I mean, even if you're using some of the eShare that you're earning, even though it might be a small amount, if you're using that to sell it and buy more microgrids, that is another great strategy. And again, we have these flywheels that we've created too. We'll do some more documentation now that Fusion is live as well. But there are so many amazing synergies now that Fusion is on base. Another one of those examples is using your eShare to then go into Plazm. So now you're using eShare from Fusion and going into Plazm essentially, for free. If you're again, it's not essentially free, but by not having to put in additional dry powder is what I mean. So that's a great flywheel as well. And then taking profits from Plazm to buy more microgrids. So there's a lot of really cool ways that you can build ownership or build exposure in the system, that way. And yeah, LA again, in terms of rewards or what is coming, um, it would be irresponsible of LA or I to make predictions or make promises, which we never do. But I think everybody wants us to. But the fact of the matter is, we don't know the future. However, we do know, again, with bonds and the Fusion marketplace already in the first 2 weeks have been doing really well. And bonds, we celebrated the $1 million payout milestone when all the recovery fund is paid back. We're now able to split our cut of that, which could literally be, hundreds of thousands of dollars just from that one revenue stream alone. And so over the coming weeks, we'll continue to add all of these revenue streams together, and that will give a much better picture with real data, not just LA or I speculating that of what the rewards will be. So yeah, does that help answer, LA?
Yeah, let's go through the individual bullets here.
Okay, perfect. All right, let me pull it up.
So what's been paid out so far? Not a dollar amount, but I mean, what are the sources so far that are contributing to the current rewards? We know we started the rewards up about a week ago. What more can you tell us about the current situation?
Yeah, absolutely. So the vast majority at the moment is from both the treasury positions earning. So let me elaborate on that. We, as a treasury, we have both our own private vaults and exposure through bonds. So both of those are earning real yield through LP providing, and we're always getting more because we are the top wallet in credit from the compensation fund. So every week, as bonds paid out, part of that again, it's a 70-30 split on revenue to all bondholders. It's always been that way, and the APR and payouts automatically take that out. So again, that's always behind the scenes. But the 30%, we as a company or a team or protocol are not earning any of that, and we've made that commitment to everybody that we're using that to pay people back first from our original hack, and so we're making major headway on that. Obviously, a lot of people wish it was quicker than what it is, but we're doing the right thing. And so once that compensation fund is taken care of, um, that is again a major boost in revenue coming in. But it could be another 6 months. It could be another year, or more. So again, we just don't know. However, that will a big chunk of that will be going to Fusion rewards when we get past all that liability. Now, the other thing is, so that's LP positions earning, bonds earning, and now the Fusion marketplace. So we've done about $30,000 to $40,000 of volume already in the Fusion marketplace. So that alone is a great revenue stream. We get 3% on buys and sells, and a lot of that revenue is going into bonds that will then use the revenue, the weekly or daily from bonds to pay and buy microgrids off the market or just buy eShare and distribute it. Now, the split will be depending on the current landscape. So what I mean by that is we don't have a set number of what our revenue is that we use to buy and distribute eShare or buy microgrids. However, it's based on the current value. So right now, microgrids are really cheap, especially considering what they were selling for on Binance chain before we did the merger to base. We're at less than like a tenth almost of what they were going for on BNB. So that being said, we're prioritizing buying microgrids a little bit more right now, because that helps all of us in the long run. Meaning, even if revenue and eShare distribution stays the same, if we're buying and burning microgrids off the market, that automatically increases ownership for everybody else, and will make the APR higher even with the same amount of rewards. So we are prioritizing that at the moment, and we have been prioritizing that for a while. But then the split will go more towards eShare, and buying and distributing that instead. So that is a variable split. And then yeah, as we continue to earn, those are the two big ones right now in real time. But once we have the game online, once we start getting more fees and Plazm starts to settle, some of those Genesis fees will be used to help with um, Fusion. Again, there's a lot of real revenue streams, and eventually all that will be listed on a DAO page on Fusion. So again, we're we have a lot of moving parts right now, and I know people want it done, immediately. But now that we're on base, now that we have all the infrastructure here, moving into the beginning of next year, we'll finally be able to do that. I know the community's been asking for a long time, so I think that will give people a much better understanding of what's happening. So, does that help, LA? I don't know if I forgot any ones that you can think of, or if you want to
Yeah,
elaborate.
no, that was definitely very helpful. And I just want to drill in what I said last week in that every week that passes by, the Treasury's position gets more powerful. One, because it's set up in bonds and vaults, and part of that, the funds inside the Treasury, when they earn rewards, get compounded based on whatever vaults they're in and what the split is between compounding and taking rewards. The next thing is the Treasury getting paid back by the compensation fund, which gets added into those vault and bond positions, and we continue to earn on a larger lump sum. The third amount that is growing the Treasury is all of the fees from the marketplace, which is 3% to the buyer and 3% to the seller in ETH, which then also gets added to those positions. So literally every week that passes by, the Treasury gets more powerful as there's constantly funds and rewards being earned to fuel it even more. And so this is just the beginning. And it's actually a really good thing that some people obviously don't see the full value in Fusion and are selling their microgrids for a lot less than they're worth, because all of us who do see the future, who do believe in it, have an opportunity to greatly build our ownership percentages, so that when the rewards do increase with these added rewards mechanisms, we can earn a bigger piece of the pie, which means that we get a larger portion of those rewards every time they pay out. So it's up to us to do whatever we can to increase our ownership position while there's really golden opportunities out there.
Yeah, great point, LA, for sure. And yeah, that is another really important aspect that I kind of glossed over earlier. But again, back to the whole, owning a business analogy, 1% is really an OG mantra that those have been in crypto a long time. And maybe it's with other industries, but I'm just so crypto focused. If you can own 1% of the token supply, or 1% of, in our case, Fusion, that is an amazing target to get to. And that gives you a lot of control. It usually represents a whale position. And, it allows you to create your own destiny. So right now in Fusion, a 1% ownership is only about like less than 15 grand, between 15 and $10,000. Now I know obviously that's a lot of money, and it may be unrealistic for a lot of you. But that being said, that is a very achievable number, knowing that way, way less than 100 people will ever be able to have a 1% ownership. So that again is really powerful because I would venture to say that not even 80 people will be able to own 1%. And that's because again, the Treasury, a lot of OG whales, they own multiple percentages. 5 to 10% alone in one wallet. So that is really, really powerful when you're trying to compete. And again, with Fusion Watch and everything else that we have rolling out, I did hear from John today. Shout out to John and Grover. They're both back in action. John was a little under the weather and dealing with some real life work. But they're back. And so a lot of the leaderboards, a lot of the Fusion positions will be able to show and really encourage a lot of you to own as much as you can while prices are low. And really, the floor price of microgrids is very thin, meaning $100,000 of buying pressure on microgrids over the next month. Microgrids could be 50 cents again in no time. I mean, again, a lot. There's really not a lot of inventory, so to speak, at the low lows. So once we start getting back to 0.1, 0.2, 0.3 cents, again, in ETH on microgrids, I think people are going to be really excited to see their microgrid value grow. And that was one more thing too, LA. We may get into it in a minute here, but your microgrid value is now determined based on the marketplace. So we're actually showing data of people buying and selling at the real true market value of your microgrid. So that's really cool. Again, no more dashboard money, no more unrealistic numbers. It's really at what it's valued at the current rate. So that's another bonus for sure. All right, awesome. LA, was there any, again, I know we kind of went a little out of order here, so I apologize. But yeah, what any other bullet points or any questions?
Yeah, I just want to add to what you just said. And so so if you take, can you pull it up again, actually? Do you
Yeah,
mind?
absolutely. No problem.
If you look at the page where your microgrid is listed and it shows the value, I know it can be disappointing to see, like from last week's AMA to this week, the value has decreased. The reason for that is because the floor price of microgrids is a lot lower than last week, and your microgrid value is based on the current floor price of microgrids. This is another reason, aside from building up our ownership position and earning a bigger piece of the pie, this is another reason that it's especially important, if we can, for us to buy up the lower priced microgrids. Now, right now, looking at it, there's quite a lot of them, all at 5 cents. But when we can eliminate all those 5-cent ones and get to then 6-cent ones, and then eliminate all those 6-cent ones and get to 7-cent ones, our microgrid values rise because now too the floor price rises. So there's a lot of things strategically that we can do as a community to help ourselves both individually and as a community to earn more and to increase the overall value of our microgrids for the future in case we ever want to sell.
Yeah, great. Absolutely, LA. And I just did some napkin math. And again, you don't have to worry about the best deal anymore. What is shown here on the marketplace at the very top, so let me scroll back up, is the very best current deal. So that will always sort it for you. But even though there seems to be a lot of listings, to LA's point, there's only about $1,000 of microgrids for sale before we get to 0.6 or 0.06 rather. So again, the floor is really thin. And to her point, yes, you can directly, influence your microgrid value by helping to buy up the microgrids at the lower levels. And again, I get it. Maybe you can only afford $5 every week. That is a couple of microgrids that you can buy. And as a community, we continue to show what we're building. We show that we're, again, one of the most transparent teams in DeFi, that we have an entire, 5 years roadmap of we're building in the future. There is only so many microgrids to go around, and that will, put microgrids in the hands of people that do have the long-term vision, are willing to hold, and then the floor price just gradually rises through, again, the treasury buying and burning the microgrid. So very similar concepts to Plazm and many other things that we have done in the past. We are prioritizing real yield, and we are highly deflationary as well. And so all of those things make for incredible and sustainable economics. No inflation, no Ponzi's, no developers that you don't see their faces. I mean, all of this is what we're building. So, all right. Anything else while I have it up, LA? Or
No, I just thought it would help to see a visual when we were kind of discussing that. So that's good. Thank you.
perfect. Okay, awesome. All right. What is up next?
Just a quick note about bridging eShare, because we've gotten a few messages and stuff about it this week. So a couple weeks ago, the bridge, well, whenever we officially opened the migration and all that, we shut down the bridge for eShare to avoid any malicious stuff going on, right? So
Yes.
if you have eShare still on BNB chain, that doesn't mean you're shit out of luck. It just means that it has to be done manually, because obviously you didn't see any of the announcements or anything like that when we were warning everyone. So couple things. What you would need to do is open a Discord ticket. Please make sure you're doing it in the legitimate way. It's on the EMP Discord. There's literally a tab that says support tickets, or support ticket. And right underneath that, it says ticket support or something like that. You literally just click on it in that tab. You're never going to click on anything from a DM. We're never going to randomly message you. You just open a Discord ticket, leave us a detailed description of what's going on along with your wallet address, and let us know that you missed the deadline to bridge your eShare, and we will do it with you manually. Couple caveats to that. There's always people that try to game the system. And so this has to be said. We know that's not you specifically, but we just have to say this. We did take a snapshot. And so if you purchased your if you purchased your eShare after the liquidity was removed, when it went way down in price on the BNB chain, that will not qualify for a manual transfer over to Base. It's only for those of you who had eShare from before that, who just happen to miss the announcements. We're happy to work on that with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, again, we did shut the bridge down. There is 0 attack vectors now that would, jeopardize eShare. Even the minting function is now under a multi-sig, so it will never be minted here on out. Like I said, we did mint a few more over the last few days just to qualify or compensate those people that did not bridge. But yeah, overall, we're actually less eShare than what we were on BNB chain, and now it is actually a cap supply token. Will only be deflationary moving forward, and at only 60,000 eShare total, that is a very, very tiny number overall. So yeah, in terms of bridging, like Elder said, don't get scammed. We will not ask you to connect to a different site. We will not ask you to send anything other than eShare. So please make sure you're doing it through Discord and through the proper channels. You will have to send the eShare to our treasury address or one of them, and then we credit you from the Base side of the new eShare. So, and again, based on all the on-chain data, there's maybe a couple of hundred eShare that did not get bridged, and a lot of those are probably just old or hacked wallets that people forgot about. And yeah, if you again are trying to buy eShare now and bridge, that isn't going to happen. We have a snapshot. We have all the on-chain data, and those that truly deserve credit will absolutely still get credit moving forward. So cool. Okay. All right. So I think moving on to bonds now, LA.
Yeah, let's do
All
it.
right, awesome. So again, the title today and what I mentioned at the top of the show, it's now been $1 million paid out to bonds in just 6 months. Really, really powerful. There is a bit of a caveat with that. We've seen APR drop over the last 2 weeks, slightly. So I think we're at around a 40% APR now, maybe a little bit less. But remember, that is temporary, and really it's bullish because you know that we are not making up numbers or have this liability that is growing that we cannot cover. A lot of other protocols, again, I don't want to really even talk about other protocols, but we've all seen it where they have this 1% daily and they're only able to pay from LP positions maybe 0.5% daily, and with a fixed APR, that gets incredibly dangerous because now you're paying on money that you don't have. It's a Ponzi scheme, and it all ends in tears. So we are a variable rate APR. It's all based on what we're earning and what the actual revenue that the LP positions make. And so, in my mind, a lower APR, again, under the circumstances, is very bullish because you know that it's legitimate and real. We're always collateralized as well. If literally every person went to redeem their bonds tomorrow or this minute, all the money would be there, everybody would get paid, and it's literally impossible, to not have it there. So that's really powerful. And then in terms of why the APR is lower, I mean, it's very easy and simple to prove, and that is volume. So volume is what matters. When we are providing liquidity for any assets, we get paid from volume, meaning if there is $1 million of buying and selling on a token, we're getting, 0.3%, or give or take, of every transaction that that's within range of the trading fees. And so when we see the market dry up over the last few weeks, and again, this is all verifiable on chain, the interest in crypto is waning. The volume, we were at $30 billion of volume a day, and now it's at like 3, I think. So again, you can see all the metrics, and that is the oversimplified answer is that when volume is down, APR is down, and when volume comes back, APR will definitely go back up. So and again, the APR is a really interesting measurement. All of us are hung up on APR, but APR is over the year. So if we're at 30% or 40% today, and we're at 100% in a month from now, the overall average APR is about 60. So that is really, again, you have to remember that just looking at the APR in the moment is not really the big picture or the real data of everything else. So, but overall, it's been really, really powerful. Actions our numbers speak louder than words. Prove $1 million paid out, and that's on chain. Again, undeniably provable based on all the transactions. You can go to the transaction tab and do all the math on your own if you wanted to, but it's about 750,000 through DexFi bonds, another 250,000 through Bernard bonds, and then it's actually a little over 1 million because we have 2 other white labels that have done tens of thousands on their own too. So all of that is really, really cool. and shows the power of what we have. So hopefully we'll be celebrating 2 million paid out in no time, and that's within 6 months. So and the TVL really hasn't been that big. I mean, overall, the TVL's been between both protocols, where the majority of it comes from, has been about 4 million at most. So to be able to pay literally 1/4 of the entire TVL in 6 months, and again, that's overgeneralizing. That's really, really powerful. So, all right, LA, again, anything you want to add to that?
I love it.
Awesome. Yes, I know. I think the bonds, and our DexFi vaults are literally the backbone of everything that we do moving forward, and will continue to be that way. So, all right, awesome. All right, so a few other updates, and then we're getting to questions, and then hopefully we can wrap it up. We've been going down to the wire on the last few AMAs, but one thing I did want to mention is LStake. So Grover, shout out to Furry Blue Me. He's in the chat as well, and can answer some questions. But we're excited to announce we got the initial funding secured. So LStake will be a protocol. The same devs behind that built Plazm, Build the Tech, BTT, they will be developing LStake. It is a liquid staking protocol that is backed by bonds. So again, another build on bonds initiative. So I'm really excited about that. And again, LA and I and EMP as an umbrella will all be involved, but Grover is really spearheading this. So Grover and John from Fusion Watch, they are the team leads for this, and we're definitely involved. It's under the umbrella, but we're happy for them to take the bull by the horns, for lack of a better pun, and really create this incredible protocol. So it will be 100% non-inflationary, real on-chain engine that we've proven already over the last 6 months with Plazm and bond payouts alone. It's fully backed and an up-only mechanism. Again, there's a great interview with Grover that goes into all this. I'm just giving the very, very high level overview. But essentially, it's always fully collateralized. There's also a hedge, which is really cool. Part of the treasury will actually be a hedge against the overall volatility of bonds or the crypto markets with BTC, ETH, and PAX G, which is gold, on-chain gold. So that's really cool. That will also give a bit of a hedge, again, on how it performs. And again, there's also a lot of cool other aspects, including liquid staking as a service. And again, I don't want to give too much alpha, but eShare will probably be the first partner with that. So lots of really, really cool things. And shout out to Grover, the math wizard that put this idea together. I think it's going to be really powerful. So if you want to get involved, there is join our socials. There'll be a few posts about it. And I know John from Fusion Watch is working on a website as well that will give you all the info that you need. And yeah, Grover, I don't know if you want to post anything in the chat as well, but feel free to as well. So, all right, I think that covers LStake. What else, LA? Did I miss anything?
You were gonna kind of talk about a couple other.
Oh yes, other protocols. Yeah, thank you, LA. All right, I missed the bottom of it. So yeah, so the other a few other things I want to mention is again, we're always building, which I know people sometimes don't understand all that we do. We're not serial launchers, but we build infrastructure and real yield protocols for everything that we do. And again, that feeds Fusion. So not only do we have LStake now coming out, but we also have what we're calling a community jackpot site, and this will be through Bernard Bonds. If you join me on the Bernard Bonds interviews or AMAs every Tuesday, you probably have heard about this, but there will be a new protocol that is essentially a community jackpot where you're able to purchase tickets and win prizes while always increasing through bonds. So just like with Plazm, where we use the buy and burn to feed the buy and burn forever through the real yield, we're now applying this to a jackpot style giveaway. So we'll have a lot more info on that. I'll do a full breakdown as well, but this is going to be really cool. I'm super excited for it. And again, it's just another use case for bonds, and will increase the TVL of bonds as well. So keep an eye out for that. And 2 other projects. Again, I don't want to even really hint at those, but within the next 2 or 3 months, we will have a plethora of opportunities. And it isn't to say that we're deluding people. This is all built upon our existing infrastructure and flywheels with all of our protocols, and most of them don't even have a token associated with them. So it's really just about building on top of what we have, and encouraging other builders to build on top of what we have, because real yield is the future. If there are any new protocols coming out and they don't have provable, verifiable real yield, then they will fail. And that is just the reality of crypto now. So again, I encourage you to really ask those questions with new protocols, and if their answer is no, then show them bonds, because bonds is the answer. And again, the easy button, where you don't have to create LP on your own. You go in, you get USDC, and that can be used to feed your ecosystem. So many irons in the fire, and really excited for what is coming for sure. So, all right, and then last but not least, before we take questions, LA, if you don't mind, I forgot to tell you this, so I'm sorry about this, but can you read the post I did about Plazm? I think that's
Yep.
probably a really good way to wrap it up here. So, and I'll pull the screen up while you do that. So, all right,
Okay.
thank you.
As we approach day 77, many are comparing this milestone to our own version of D-Day. It's a major event, and it's natural for the community to feel a mix of anticipation and uncertainty. But in reality, this moment is far less ominous than it may seem, and in many ways, it represents a positive turning point for the protocol. While a large token unlock can create short-term volatility, it also serves as the first true stress test of the Plazm system. Strong protocols aren't defined by the calm days. Instead, they're defined by how they perform under pressure. Plazm was designed with these exact scenarios in mind. Behind the scenes, we've been preparing diligently. Mitigation strategies are ready. Capital is positioned on the sidelines. Opportunities to increase ownership will be acted on strategically. And most importantly, this milestone opens the door for the BBB to finally activate. Whether some holders decide to exit or reposition, the long-term impact is far from negative. In many cases, it accelerates consolidation into stronger hands and strengthens the system's sustainability. Real yield continues, burns continue, and the protocol remains aligned with its core mission. Day 77 isn't a crisis, it's a campaign we've been preparing for. And just like the historical D-Day, the outcome may ultimately mark the beginning of a stronger, more resilient chapter.
Let's go. All right, thank you, LA. Perfect. So again, all of our Plazm participants are maybe excited and a little terrified for day 77, where that will be on this coming Monday. And technically, again, it is day 78 with the rollover. But that being said, that is when the first big token supply unlocks. And I'm excited. I think we're going to see it really stress test the system. And this is all part of the what we've been preparing for. I mean, again, it's not a surprise to anybody. And I think that we really will see Plazm, you know, fare a lot better than people think. So again, a lot of this info isn't 100% up to date yet. I think Grover and John were going to update a few things, but just based on this alone, it says that we're getting, I think, about 2 million. Let me look. Hang on. Yeah, so as you can see, we're gonna about 2.3 million Plazm. In reality, it's actually a lot less than that. And we've said many times that there's two whales that I know of that are allegedly part of the Treasury or team wallet that will only be going back in to Plazm, which again could really prevent a lot of dumping in and of itself. And a lot of people have dry powder waiting for the bottom. So those that have been selling and leaving could very well enter again with a vengeance in just what is that, 4 days, 3 days. So that's really powerful. And even still, the price is holding up fairly well. eShare price is finding a floor. And so once we get through this, then the magic really happens, because once we get a low price, the buy and burn really shows its potential. So if we go over here to burn, we can see we have about 60 grand even at today's levels. If if eShare doubles over the next few weeks, that could be upwards of 100 grand in the buy and burn ready to go. So again, we're not giving it that time. It may be a few days, it may be another week or two, but after day 77, but we will be increasing the buy and burn. And so this is really cool because this will automatically push the price back up over time, and again put people in a better position while simultaneously burning all of those Plazm tokens as well. So what I would suggest, again, not financial advice, but the same thing that we've said over and over again, on day 77, if you leave and exit, you will never ever be able to buy as much Plazm back as what you are earning. So on day 77, you come here, you go to easy mode, you click Plazm, because you'll be able to use the Plazm that you've now earned, and it will only sell the bare minimum of Plazm to cover your staking costs to go back in. And this will also have a dramatic uptick in deposits, because all of the staking fees, and staking is more profitable at the moment, all of those fees will then go right into bonds. And so you're essentially paying your future self with those deposits. So again, and then what that does is make the buy and burn even more powerful moving forward. So again, I'm doing a high level overview. We have a ton of great videos on Plazm if you're not familiar with it, and we will do a specific AMA around day 77 on what to do. But the whole goal right now is to go through multiple cycles. You earn the Plazm that you have accumulated over the 77 days, and you go back in for another 77 days. And by then, the buy and burn should be massive. And again, perpetual, so that you are in profit. Now, we did see a few people report that, depending on when they got in, their creates or stakes they did originally may not be in profit, meaning it was a negative ROI. If that is you, do not panic and dump at a loss and leave. I would suggest claiming at a loss and then going back in to earn even more Plazm, because if you were at a loss in the first cycle, you will almost guarantee to be especially from your original principal, you'll be at a positive if you're willing to be involved for another 77 days. So those are just some quick tips. And please feel free to join the Plazm Telegram for more info. This has been an absolute printer. I mean, I don't know. I'm in the trenches every day with DeFi protocols, and nobody has made more money than with Plazm that I know of in terms of dApps in the last 77 days. So it's really really cool to see people that have been earning excited about this. And I think once there was one last point, once we get through this and people see, whoa, like Plazm is surviving and it's not a death spiral. The treasury is growing. Everything's working just like they said it would. That could be a massive onboarding for people that faded it to begin with. So, and even with the lower APR down here, let me show. So yeah, even with the lower APR, we've done $50,000 as of today of real yield from the buy and burn. So that's 50 grand that's in the buy and burn that did not come from user deposits. So imagine what that number will be in multiple cycles. It's just really really cool to see, and the ETH value is still holding up really well. Although it's down a bit, obviously we saw ETH take a hit. There's still literally 345 grand in the treasury. So if you look at other protocols, they're using this money every day to pay people out, and this number in theory will only grow moving forward. So that is really really cool. And who knows, a year from now, 2 years from now, maybe Plazm is a governance token. And if you own Plazm, you vote and you get all this. We could just end the protocol and everybody could get this money if you hold Plazm. So there's some really cool ways that we're always able to collateralize Plazm itself, which is again something no other daily creation protocol is able to do. So, all right, LA, that wraps it up. Do we have some questions or anything you wanted me to go over? Okay.
Yeah, most of them I've been answering in the chat. All the ones from Discord were kind of very individual and needed to open a ticket. So we don't have any over on there. But let's check out our chats and see if there's any I didn't answer already. I'm sure you can't answer this, but if you had to estimate how many microgrids you needed to stake to earn around 1 eShare per day, how many would it be?
Oh man, you know me, LA. I'm terrible at doing math on stream. Maybe Grover can do that math really quick. Yeah, I'm honestly I wouldn't even venture to guess. Right now I would probably give a terribly wrong answer, but it might not be as many as you would assume. So again, was that an eShare a day or an eShare a week?
I think
Were
it's
they
a
asking?
day per day.
Yeah, then that might be a little bit high for sure. But yeah, we'll get back to you on that one. So okay.
One thing I did want to mention is that on the Fusion section where it says claim, it is only showing 2 decimal points. So what does that mean? If you have a relatively small position, it might still say 0.00, but that doesn't mean that yours is broken or anything. It just means that potentially because you have a smaller position, you haven't earned a full 0.1 or 0.01 of an eShare yet. So just hold tight. It's only been 1 week so far. And if you have a smaller position, you may not have earned enough for it to actually show up on the screen yet.
Yeah, really good point, LA. Thank you for reminding me. So with that, you can, if you hit claim, as long as the claim button is as blue or green, bluish green, depending on your screen settings, then you do have rewards. So again, to LA's point, if you hit claim, you will be able to see down to like 7 decimal places in your wallet. So when it pops up, it will show you what you have able to claim. And yeah, I have spoken to the devs. We may add another 1 or 2 decimal places just to make it easier. But on mobile, we don't want the zeros to go all the way across the screen. So it's a UI thing for sure. But yes, you are earning.
Yes. Okay, so next question. If there are a certain number of microgrids that like sit there for months and months and never get staked, will they be pulled off due to inactivity, or will they just stay there in case someone a year from now finds out and wants to stake it?
Yeah, so the short answer is, as much as I would like to do, even a year time frame, we don't have the ability to basically go in to each people's wallets and remove them. So they have been airdropped now, or credited, I guess is a better word. And again, we don't have the ability to go in and get rid of them. We could basically blacklist their wallets, but that's also something we don't want to do. But the short answer is most of them are actually in contracts, meaning they would never be able to be deposited anyway. And so we should get a very, very accurate number within even 6 months of people. And typically they never come back at that point. So yeah, the short answer is we can't just delete them. And yeah, I think that we probably will never see upwards of 10 million microgrids ever be in the system.
Cool. There was a suggestion on here that it would be great to have a calculator which provides an indication of the awards based on the new version of Fusion. 2 things. Can you explain why it's difficult to kind of provide a calculator when the rewards are coming from real yield that's based on volume? But 2, can you talk about the daily rewards payout section and what we discussed this week in regards to that being updated in the near future?
Yeah, 100%. So you may have to cue me again here, LA. But the first question, part of that question was that a calculator. The reason that that is very difficult to do is that the real revenue that we produce varies. So if we knew, hey, we're earning $1,000 a week every week forever, then yeah, that would be very easy to calculate. But some weeks it might be 700 of yield, and next week it might be 2,000 of yield. Again, depending on LP positions, depending on marketplace volume, there's just so many variables that it's nearly impossible to give a number. I'm sure that we can do kind of an a just for fun calculator, which again was part of the original Fusion watch. So Grover and John, I'll challenge you both to do that at some point. So that might help. But yeah, overall, it's just really, really hard to have an accurate number because everything is variable rate and variable earning. So, and then the second part is, yeah, the daily payout. So once we have more data, we will be able to show what your estimated daily payout is based on your ownership, the price of microgrids, and the price of eShare or the amount of eShare in the distribution contract. But again, I think the confusion, and at LA, you can maybe elaborate on this too. You are earning every second of every day. So if you have a big enough ownership, you're earning eShare literally every single block. Um, Even though we only distribute or allocate the eShare to the distribution pool once a week. So it is, again, you have daily earning, you have second by second earning, daily earning, and weekly earning that all comes from the same source. So does that make sense, LA? I probably made it more complicated, but hopefully that explains.
In a nutshell, that daily payout section will show a number eventually when we have more data and it can be more accurate.
Yes, perfect. And yeah, in the meantime, if you have a large enough ownership percentage, you're earning eShare literally every second of every day. So
Yeah. Okay, can you go over again in a more simplified manner what determines Bond APR and how it'll rise once the volume on the DEXs rise?
yeah, for sure. So APR again is a really a tough metric, but what happens is the APR is determined based on the current bond price in ETH and what we're able to have earned the previous week. So that's another variable too. Again, you said simplify it, but it's impossible to simplify. The rewards are actually a week in the rear technically because we're not only are we like I mentioned it earlier every 2 week average with the epochs, but we only can deposit the yield that we earned for the previous week. So that being said, that is really what determines APR in the current price of bonds and what the actual USDC rewards that we earned from LP providing were. And then
That's the part I
yeah.
want you to describe in much more basic detail. So talk about LP providing and how you earn yield on the platforms that you're involved in regards to those LPs that are in the vaults.
Yeah, so bonds are essentially the easy button for vaults. And so under the hood, we take the ETH that is deposited to mint bonds and give you your bonds. We apply that to LP positions. LP positions are essentially two different assets. We'll keep it really simple. We'll say Ethereum and USDC. So if we have $1,000, half of that goes to buying ETH and half of that goes to buying USDC. We then create an LP pair. And again, this is what DEX5 vaults do if you go on that manually and do this. But bonds are the easy button and it's all done under the hood for you. And so whenever somebody trades USDC to ETH in that on that particular exchange, so LP providing is with a specific exchange. So some of our LPs are with Uniswap, some of them are with Aerodrome, and so every time somebody swaps Ethereum to USDC on say Uniswap, which is where our LP is in this case, there is a fee, and depending on our range of LP, we get a pretty big part of the fee. So the whole idea is that you want to have a tight range, but not too tight to where you're not earning anything. And then every time somebody transacts Ethereum to USDC, we get a small fee from that. And so when I say volume matters, if there's only $1,000 of volume on ETH and USDC, we're only earning, $1. If there is $1,000,000, now we're earning $10,000. $1,000,000 of volume, we're earning $10,000. Again, those are just round numbers. But so that's what I mean by, when volume is down, which we've seen, and all that is verifiable, we all know that the interest and activity on crypto has been way, way down. The APR will suffer from that. So
Yes.
does that help, LA? I don't
Yeah,
know.
and
I
then
feel
I'll
like
take
it's
what you
still
just said
too
and make
complicated.
it
All right,
even more simplified.
please. All right, perfect.
So the APY and the volume is very much determined by people's interest in crypto right now. And right now, there's just less people on the DEXs trading and swapping one coin for another coin, one token for another token. And so on each of the DEXs, we might have dozens of different LPs involved in all of our different vaults. And so anytime, like AJ said, a person swaps that one coin for the other coin in the LPs, then we earn a fee. Right now, there's less people doing swaps, and so we're earning less rewards in those fees, and so APRs are down. When more people start making more swaps on these dexes, APR will go back up.
Perfect. I love it. That's why LA is always my left-hand lady on these episodes. Oh, you have a great way of simplifying it, LA, so thank you. All right, awesome.
All right, let's see if there's anything else. DeFi After Party says, I have the most Plazm and I vote that BBB goes all to me to hold on to for
Yeah.
all your future well-being.
Yeah, shout out to Christian. DeFi After Party, go give him a sub. Great content. And yeah, I'm sure he's going to be doing a day 77 update. And yeah, I mean, and again, when I was mentioning voting and governance, obviously that is a maybe and not something that will happen. But if he owns DeFi After Party, if you own more than 51% of the whole supply, that might happen, man. Yeah, so.
Awesome. And then the last thing I wanted to mention that AJ and I discussed right before the stream started, obviously the holidays are coming up. Next week's AMA is as usual. What is that? The 18th, I believe. But then after next week, we have AMAs that would have fallen on Christmas Day and New Year's Day. And so we will be taking 2 Thursdays off to just be with our families, allow you guys to be with your families over the holidays. Obviously, we're not going to do a Christmas or New Year's stream, but the week after that, we'll be back in full swing for both weekly AMAs for both EMP and HVM. And so if you do have any burning questions, please make sure to get them in the AMA questions tab between now and next Thursday so that we can get them answered for you. And of course, we'll be around. We're not going to disappear for 2 weeks entirely. We'll be around to answer questions, but we just won't be having AMAs directly right over the holidays.
Yeah, perfect. So again, not going anywhere. I still think we hold the record for the most AMAs ever with a project. But yeah, I think that's a great plan, LA, and gives us a little bit of a break. But I'll be doing updates through socials. I love my my recap posts, so you'll get those for sure. And then yeah, if there's anything breaking, we can always do a one-off AMA that's not on Christmas or New Year's. So, all right, awesome. Then yeah, I think that's gonna do it. We'll wrap it up here. Shout out to all of you, man. We've had literally 130 to 150 live viewers every AMA since we launched Plazm. It feels so. Shout out to all of you that actually show up, and I love it. That's been the best engagement we've had since the original days of EMP. So that's awesome. And this really is the best way to get your questions answered, to chat with us, to streamline communication on these AMAs. So thank you all for being here. And if you have somebody that's new, or maybe a friend or somebody that has no idea about Plazm or bonds or EMP or Fusion or any of that or HVM, these are a great thing to send. So usually they're a little long, an hour, hour and a half, but if you watch on 2x speed, they're very digestible, and it's a really cool way to show others what a crypto project should be. I mean, again, we explain things, we show our faces, are fully transparent. So I appreciate all of you that have really supported us over the years. I mean, it's crazy. We're going on 4 or 5 years now. It's just insane. So cheers to all of you as we get to the end of the year. I always get a little sentimental. And yeah, it's going to be 2026 will be a monster. I mean, we've been able to have great returns and yields with this mini bear season. I can't imagine what we're going to see when we finally get to the real bull. I still don't think we've had the real bull. I know LA is dying for her first official bull market.
Patiently
So
waiting.
yeah, you have been very patient for sure. So I think we're almost there. So
Man, and
shoot,
I hate to say this, but in just over a month, we'll be celebrating our 4-year anniversary. That's wild.
it is wild, totally LA. So yeah. Oh, and two, I don't know. We may be doing our first in-person event too. You just reminded me. Consensus this year. We're gonna have to
Oh,
get
yeah.
that marked out on the calendar, right? I forgot too. So yeah, I know somebody mentioned it today. Shout out to Judy. But yeah, I think that is still in the works. So we'll give you an update on that too. But all right, awesome. Now I really will wrap it up. So remember that well, before I get to that, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. That really helps. Again, the algorithm gets the word out and pushes this to new people, and that we come to you every Thursday at 6:45 p.m. Eastern. That's it. You got LA? Any final words?
Thank you guys for joining us. Have an absolutely amazing evening or day, wherever you are. And we look forward to seeing you next week.
All right, there you have it, everyone. Cheers. Good night. Good day. We will see you next week. Bye bye.